Welcome in to Rock Hard Ball, part of the Dogs Media Network at College Football Dogs. Let's get rock hard.
Hop on the podcast this week.
Hey, Clyde, pipe down. It's Rock Hard Ball time. Welcome in, everybody. Episode 29. I'm Carter. That's Weezy. As you can hear, Clyde was talking there at the beginning, being disrespectful as always.
Yeah, my fault.
Another great show on the docket tonight. Kobe says, bone up, folks. It's time to go. Excited to be here. Got a big week of college football and NFL to talk about and recap. Lots of good storylines from both the college ranks and the pro ranks. And so we're going to get into it all. Before we do that, another reminder, check out the socials, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, TikTok, all that good stuff. Give us a follow at Rock Hard Ball or at Rock Hard Ball Pod in all of those different locations. That way you can stay up to date with all of the stuff that we got going on here. Check out the clips, stuff like that. So, yeah, let's get into it. Let's get to the show rundown first. Got college football week 3 recap, NFL week 2 recap. We'll give you an update on the Rock Hard bets for those who are maybe new, tuning in for the first time. Weezy and I give 3 plays for NFL and college football every single show. So we'll take a look at how we did this weekend. Then we'll finish up, of course, as always, with Rock Hard takes and Kelly's Kinky Rankings before we get out of here. So that being said, we'll hop right into it. We'll start with college football. Got the week 3 storylines that we'll go over a little bit. K-State dominated Arizona. So we'll get into that one. That was the only, that was definitely the top matchup that we thought was going to be, super competitive and probably had the most, future playoff implications of the weekend. Maybe ended up not quite being the case. We'll see. Georgia survived an upset scare. Talk about that a little bit. Arch Manning put the nation on alert. We'll get into that. Ranked teams around the country pretty much took care of business this week. Wasn't much for upsets, but definitely a lot of ones that were interesting games nonetheless. And then just some other notable matchups that we had from around the country. Okay, so let's start then with K-State and Arizona. That was, again, the biggest game that we were expecting coming into the weekend. And, hell of showing by Kansas State. They win the game 31-7. Arizona scored their only touchdown in the first quarter, so it was all Kansas State. From that point on, they were able to, kind of weather the storm of Fafita and McMillan. They still put up a really good game. Fafita had over 260 yards passing, threw the ball a lot, and McMillan had 138 yards from him in the air. But the bigger story is the quarterback on the other side of the ball, the one that, was criticized a lot in the offseason. I guess either hyped up or criticized, depending on where you looked. Avery Johnson. Will Howard transferred out. He kind of came in, looked like the guy. Hell of a game. Over 150 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, and then he did it with his leg too. He had 110 yards on the ground. Just a really impressive showing from Kansas State all around, right?
Yeah, that game was Friday night, so I ended up taking Arizona +7 late. Most disastrous fourth quarter of all time. Avery Johnson's just like, oh, it's third down. I don't care. I'm just going to use my legs. Did not know he was that good of a runner. Probably should have known. I feel like it was talking points too of how him and Howard were pretty similar in that case. Yeah, he's a stud. And if he plays like this all year, Kansas State then could very easily be could win the Big 12.
Yeah, so that's what I was going to kind of get to next is where do we, kind of rank Kansas State now? Obviously, Arizona, they're ranked 20th in the country coming into this one.
But holding them to 7 is that's where Arizona is ranked 4. Like that's like, if you can't stop them, they're going to just pile up the points on you. They had nothing going all game. So, Kansas State way better than I would have thought.
Yeah, I'm curious to see now where they end up because, I don't have the new AP poll in front of me, but I think they climbed a couple spots. They might be like 12th now. Does that sound right? Maybe I don't know. 13th. Okay, they're 13th now in the new AP poll. After that win, so I guess the voters maybe didn't quite think that was as impressive as maybe others thought. But I still thought. They were at home, but they just controlled the entire game, and it's against a ranked opponent. Again, we said an explosive offense. No matter where you're playing, that's impressive. So I'll be really interested to see where Kansas State ends up when it's all said and done. Their schedule very doable. We talked about it in the preseason. They have Oklahoma State at home, which will be a tough game, but again, it's at home, that helps. And then the one game at the end of the year that might be even a little bit tougher than we thought coming into the season. They go on the road to Iowa State for the last game of the season.
Yeah, and they look a lot better than obviously advertised in the offseason. So.
Iowa State looks good. So that could be a really big game in the Big 12 as the season wraps up. Obviously, Oklahoma State and Utah are going to be playing this coming week. So that'll be a huge game as well that we'll preview more on Thursday. But yes, Kansas State, very, very impressive win and looks to, maybe be maybe not even just a Big 12 contender. Maybe Kansas State could be a contender to maybe not win the national championship, but make a run to like the Final Four. Yeah. So good win from them. Definitely impressed. Let's move on here to the next game. I guess let's hit this first. We're talking about the Kansas State Wildcats. Coach said, nice cat shirt, Weezer. You ever ran heavy equipment before? What's the answer?
What are we like clarifying as heavy equipment?
I don't know.
Like forklifts, yeah. Skyjacks, yeah.
You forklift certified, bro?
No.
Ooh, bad boy.
Don't tell OSHA though.
Okay. We'll keep that under wraps. If any OSHA, whatever officers are listening, please don't report the Weez for operating forklifts without a certification. Okay. Let's get to the next game. Georgia survives an upset scare in Lexington. They went on the road to play Kentucky. Coming into the season, this was initially thought to be a spot where
that game, yeah.
Georgia could have a scare. And then Kentucky got stomped the week before by South Carolina, right? And then everybody was like, okay, well, this game's not going to be good. Georgia will just kick the hell out. I mean, we talked about it on the show. Herb Street was like,
kick the shit out of them.
Yeah, Herb Street even tweeted himself. He was like, yeah, we were going to go to game day, or game day was going to go to Lexington for Georgia, Kentucky. And then we saw Kentucky just get their shit rocked. And then we were like, no, we're not going to go there. Little did they know this game would end up being super good. Kentucky, story of consistency in this one, 3 points in every single quarter, just field goals galore. But it wasn't quite enough. Georgia, though, they look vulnerable now. I mean,
changes the narrative. Power that we thought they were, but I forgot the stat. Clyde, if you could find this up, but I'm pretty sure like the total amount of like one score games that they've played against SEC teams, like it's every single Kentucky game. I don't think they've beat them by
Kentucky has played them really well, I feel like, in the past few years.
I could be wrong, but I think it's the last 4 years, every single time they've played Kentucky, it's been a one-score game. So I think Kentucky just gives them their best shot. It's like, I don't know why.
Yeah. They do seem to have it kind of figured out against them. Obviously, Kentucky wasn't supposed to be great this year, but I think, most people thought they'd have a solid year. Van de Griff's a solid quarterback. But no, obviously the biggest takeaway is that Georgia isn't. I mean, they still obviously could, but it's not just an afterthought. They're gonna roll through everybody that's not a top 5 team in the country, which is important to see. In a season where we thought it was going to be just kind of 3 powers controlling things. Also, really for how good this game was played by Kentucky, and really impressive how they were able to slow down Georgia's offense. I hated that decision. Towards the end of the game where they had the 4th down. I know it was kind of long, but you had the number 1 team in the country up against the ropes. You don't punt it away.
It's every single team. It's like, you're playing to beat the number 1 team in the country. Like at no point should you be conservative here, especially after getting throttled the week prior.
Mm-hmm.
Like it pisses me off when coaches are like that.
Yeah. I don't remember how much time was actually left in the game, but it effectively ended it. If I remember correctly. Because after that, I think Georgia held the ball for 2 minutes and 50 seconds, and then they punted it away. And then Kansas State they held it for 2 minutes, 50 seconds, punted it away with 9 seconds left. So you just can't do that if you're Kentucky. Maybe I might have said Kansas State, but can't do that if you're Kentucky. But still hard fought effort. Georgia looks like they're human, so that's good to see. Next game, Arch Manning arrives and puts the nation on alert. I guess maybe I should say, as the graphic says. But story of the weekend, it seems like, really at this point, is Quinn Ewers went down in this UTSA game, this Texas UTSA game. When he went out, they were very concerned. It was a non-contact injury. He just, hit the ground. Initially, they thought it might have been very bad, like borderline season ending. Arch Manning, though, comes in, goes 9 for 12 from the field, throws for over 220 yards, 4 touchdowns, also had 3 carries for 53 yards. And, well, that's kind of messed up because college takes sacks, but he had that long run of 67 for the touchdown. Yep. He looks super good. Vegas thought so, too. The Heisman odds changed so much. He went from plus 15,000 to plus 1,600 after that game. So
that's got to be just with
ridiculous.
Initial fear, though, that's going to be him the entire rest of the year, right?
Yeah, and that's why.
Also, what was the official status on Ewers? It wasn't like
it's a strained oblique.
I think they were saying like hopefully he's just missing next week.
Yeah, he's week to week now. But the thought is that he will not play, and that Arch Manning will assumedly start next week. Sorry, Cass. Maybe I know that's kind of confusing for you with your small lawyer brain, but maybe a little of both. He arrived and put the nation on alert, I think. But yeah, very, very impressive. I think the narrative, though, has already started that, like, ooh, what does Texas do? Like, if Arch looks really good, they're not going to bench Quinn Ewers,
who was
the favorite. Yeah, he was the Heisman favorite before he got injured. So for anybody out there that's legitimately thinks that Texas might play Arch Manning the rest of the season. That is not happening unless Quinn Ewers goes down with a season-ending injury, which obviously, they hope doesn't happen. But let's not forget, before going out of this game, Ewers was still 14 for 16 for almost 200 yards, 2 touchdowns. He did throw a pick. But obviously, Quinn Ewers is still arguably the best quarterback in the nation. Luckily for Texas, they might just also have the second best quarterback in the nation.
And obviously, they don't have a tester next week either. They play UL Monroe. They'll win that game by 65, and then Ewers will be back, and they'll keep going. I mean, they have not lost a step. Even when Ewers goes down, okay, well, now we have Arch Manning, who I will say is a lot better right away than I thought he would be. I don't know. On Twitter,
I almost kind of do forget that he was the number 1 recruit in the country.
I do too, but I also think it was fair because, I'm sure you watched all of his highlights, at high school.
Yeah. I mean,
not look like it was very tough
high competition.
Yeah. Saw a lot of white 5'9" corners out there. Maybe a little too much, but no, he's a stud. So they're going to be fine.
Yeah, no, I think everybody knew that he'd have the arm talent, and obviously he'd have, he'd process at a very high level. I think definitely the thing that shocked people the most was just how athletic he was.
That he put on the burner.
He was over 20 miles an hour on that run.
Yeah.
So yeah, Twitter and TikTok and everything has probably said it best. We might be cooked that we have an athletic Manning. So it is definitely scary. Especially, I mean, you just don't see this kind of depth stick around anymore. Because it was a shock to people when Ewers came back and Arch Manning stayed. You don't really expect that to happen anymore. It's always fun to think about, Nebraska back in the day. People always talk about Tommy Frazier was probably the best quarterback in the country, when he was at Nebraska, and Brooke Barringer, rest in peace, was number 2, and they're he was arguably actually the second best quarterback in the country. I'm not sure if I go quite that far with Arch Manning yet, but I mean, he looked damn good. It'd be fun to see him play against an actual good team and see what he could do. But Texas looks like they're in good shape here for years to come. Apparently, the Feds got Diddy. Not sure if that's true or not. We're looking for a source here. Let's see.
I'll find it.
And then Kobe said Chattery cooked. Might be. Arch Manning is very, very good. But yeah. Well, Nebraska will come, guys. Don't worry. Got some Nebraska slurping, and can we talk about Nebraska already? Don't worry. We'll save the best for last. We'll get to that eventually. But before we do that, let's get into some of the other stuff.
Did he get
Clyde's got Quinn Ewers up on the big screen here.
Diddy's gone. He got
the Shanghai Sharks. So did he actually get arrested?
11 minutes ago in Manhattan.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Diddy was actually caught.
Did get him.
All right.
Yep, you got him.
Congrats to the Feds. Diddy has been arrested.
There we go.
Alex Holman, aka Nugget, Kobe, let Nugget know he's getting a shout out. He can finally rest. Diddy has been caught. All right, ranked teams taking care of business. Missed opportunity to get the song going there. Taking care of business, All right, let's get into it. We'll just kind of go down the list here. Alabama went into Wisconsin and just stomped them. It was not close from start to finish. Unfortunate, Tyler Van Dyke got injured, and it has been revealed now that he tore his ACL. So really tough look for Wisconsin there. That sucks for sure. Would have liked to see Van Dyke, play the full season for them. So now we'll see what they end up being going forward. Another really impressive performance, from Jalen Milroe. He had 5 total touchdowns in this one. And Wisconsin kind of hung around for the first quarter, but after that, Alabama just ran away with the game. I don't know how much that one did you watch?
I watched a fair amount of it to begin with. I had that next to Michigan because I obviously had Bama minus 16, but I stopped paying attention at halftime. They weren't coming back. And Fickle had a great quote. He's like, yeah, I just walked in the locker room and said, well, if you guys have never gotten your asses kicked before in life, that was your first time. we got beat bad.
Yeah, no, a bad game. But at the same time, I think Alabama is really good. They never know. They might be kind of in that conversation now with some of those top dogs. But the highlight
of the game was obviously Williams being 17 and looking like already one of the better receivers in the country.
Yeah, no, he's ridiculous. And even Braylon Allen, watching his alma mater get beat down, had to send out a tweet, be like, oh, I get what you guys are saying about that 17 thing now. It's kind of crazy. It is. When 17-year-olds can do that on a college football field, it's ridiculous. Ole Miss beat Wake Forest by a final score of 40-6. Tough luck. It was so bad, actually, that Wake Forest canceled the game for next year. They were supposed to play a home and home.
Wow.
They were supposed to play a home and home. And so this one was at Wake Forest this year. They got stomped so bad in this one that they had to pay a massive fee too. I don't remember exactly what the number is on that, but they have to pay a big time like money fee to back out of this game with Ole Miss next year because they just don't want to, go in there and just get humiliated next year. So tough look there for Wake Forest for sure.
I mean, this is Ole Miss though. Like, I don't think I'm even going to like tune into another game until they play like legitimate competition because I'm just going to imagine they're going to win by 50. Like every spread against teams like this should be 40 to 50. That offense is so dynamic.
Yeah, no, they're very good. I mean, again, we talked about it. The SEC teams that have the high-powered offenses are just so good at just beating up on shitty teams.
Yeah,
and like I don't know, it's weird, but they did it again. So Ole Miss just continues to roll as we head into conference play, and obviously things will get more interesting now. Let's talk about the game that ended up being a lot more interesting than we thought for sure. Missouri and Boston College. Boston College, I mean, hand up, we both sat here and said that they probably shouldn't have been ranked. They were 24th in the country coming in this one. But at the same time, we didn't really know exactly what we were going to get from Missouri. Ended up being a really close game. Missouri wins this one by a final score of 27-21. Boston College, tried to claw back there at the end. Castellanos continues to just be fun. Unfortunately, though, he threw a couple picks that, didn't help. Obviously, Mizzou, really impressive day on the ground as well. They rushed for almost 200 yards. Brady Cook was pretty efficient in it. And then Luther Burden is also really, really good for Missouri. That guy's a freak. So whenever they get in trouble, I think they can just start throwing it to him and they'll be fine. So
yeah, that was big. And then also Boston College could not run the ball to save their lives, which ended up hurting them, I would say, the most. But I agree. I still don't know. Like, is Boston College better than we think, or is Missouri maybe, is 6 maybe a little too much for them?
I still have no idea because, again, I don't think this is like even so much like hindsight, like, oh, thanks, Captain Obvious. We said this before this game. We don't really know what the hell these two teams are because Missouri's definitely good.
Also, my bad, they dropped to 7. I was looking at last week's. Okay, so they did drop after the game.
So Missouri, yeah, definitely good. I just don't know if they're like elite. Like we said, I mean,
they have a couple playmakers, but I don't know if it's enough to obviously really contend at the top.
Like their defense, like, is that going to be good enough to keep a team like Alabama, Ole Miss, ones like that limited on that side of the ball? I don't know. So again, that'll be interesting to see. And I don't really want to make too many assumptions on this game yet because I just don't know with either of these teams.
No, I agree.
I'll mention it because it's ridiculous, but Tennessee beat Kent State 71-0. That was unreal. They were up 30-0 and they kicked an onside kick.
Yeah, that's the all-time scumbag move, but I loved it too.
Yeah, no, it's
like we actually want the ball back.
Yeah, no, it was crazy. That game was just absolute shit pumping from start to finish.
Well, the craziest thing is you would think, like, looking into that, it's like, okay, well, they have a ridiculously good quarterback where they probably airmailed it. No, like complete opposite. Amalava, or however it's right. I kind of hit it on.
I don't know. He's the one that I got to learn. I don't know.
Yeah, no, he only threw, like, he was 10 for 16, 173 yards and a touchdown. They had 55 carries for 456 yards and 6 touchdowns. They just ran it all over him. I mean, also though, Kent State is brutal.
Yeah, they're horrible. But just never a good look when it's 65-0 at halftime. Very, very bad performance. I guess let's just mention a couple of other, like, just complete blowouts, I guess, before we get into maybe a couple other games that we wanted to hit on more. Miami beat Ball State by the final score of 62-0. Cam Ward, good opportunity to just kind of add some stats for the Heisman campaign. I feel like in this one, kind of ran it up a little bit. 3 for 5 touchdowns. That's a career high for him. So Miami stays perfect going into conference play. Oklahoma State went to Tulsa, pummeled them 45-10. They looked good. I think the biggest question mark, obviously, for most people coming into the season with Oklahoma State is Alan Bowman good enough for them to be like an elite team? Looked really good in this one. 3 for 5 touchdowns, almost 400 yards. And again, they got a big one with Utah next week, so I'll be interested to see how he plays in that for sure.
Yeah, and to think he was, Michigan's 3rd string 2 years ago.
Yep.
Would have loved to have him around.
Yeah, for sure. And then finally, I guess the last one we'll kind of mention, shout out Notre Dame, I guess.
Big
bouncing back 66-7. Didn't take the foot off the gas. Purdue's also very, very bad.
Really bad.
I
saw a tweet right before the season started. It was from like a Purdue, like one of the biggest like fan pages of Purdue football. Clearly, there's obviously not a lot of them. It was like, if we go into Ohio State like week 9 and we beat them and we're 9-0, there's a really good chance that we're the number 1 team in the country. And everybody in the comments is like, what the fuck are you talking about?
That's ridiculous. Yeah, my God, if people think that I've seen people calling Nebraska fans delusional for being like, "Hey, what would we be ranked like hypothetically if we go 7-0?" It's like, yeah, well, they're going to be favored in all those games before they go to Ohio State.
They're going to be
the underdog in
7-0.
all the games to lose.
Yes.
So yeah.
Then there's also
bad luck.
Or which one are we on next?
Okay, yeah. So now I'm going to circle back a little bit. This one was still kind of a blowout, but I still want to talk about it because we previewed it a lot on the Thursday show. Oregon and Oregon State in the whatever renewed rivalry, not renewed, it's still continuing, but obviously Oregon's gone to the Big Ten. Oregon had not proved that they were the team that people thought they were yet at this point in the season before Saturday. They go into Oregon State, a rival that was 2-0 going into it, and just controlled the game. First half was fairly competitive, but then Oregon really put them away. Another good game from Dylan Gabriel. That's been the one thing I think that's been going strong for Oregon this whole time. Has
been steadily good.
He's been good the whole time. They just for some reason haven't been able to really like convert on like touchdowns and stuff like that. It seems like and just let teams hang around a little bit too much. But they didn't do that in this one. So I thought it was just really big.
It was a big needed win out of that. Finally, they finally looked like who they were supposed to be. Coming into the season.
Absolutely. Other ones that I wanted to kind of mention a little bit: Utah State. So that one ended in a final score of 38-21. Utah really controlled that whole game. The biggest story in that one is obviously Cam Rising didn't play again. Zach Wilson's younger brother, Isaac Wilson, had to start and finish the game. Is Cam Rising like gonna stay healthy the whole year? Like it's gonna be a big. That's by far the biggest question mark for Utah this entire year.
Been a question mark for him in that team since he's gotten there.
Yeah, for the last 14 years.
Like when he's healthy and he's playing, that Utah team looks really good.
Mm-hmm.
And when he's not, obviously they're not much to talk about.
Yeah, so
shout out Isaac Wilson. He played great.
No, he did play really good. And that's actually was, another talking point I think that some people were talking about is if Cam Rising's not healthy, maybe he is, good enough where Utah can still be, big time competitive. But Cam Rising, I don't know if it's like official or not on what this status is for next week, but he has to play next week. They're playing Oklahoma State. That's going to be a really tough, ask for Isaac Wilson to try and go and win that game. I don't know if it's on the road too. Okay. So big time game next week for Utah. We'll preview more on Thursday though. So I'll kind of just leave it at that for now. But let's hope that Cam Rising can get healthy and stay healthy. Another one that we talked about, Tulane being one of those group of 5 teams that was expected to be a contender for that playoff spot. And people thought more highly of them even after like Friday night because, we saw them hang with K-State for a long time at home. And then K-State kicks the crap out of Arizona. But then Tulane goes on the road to Oklahoma and gets beat pretty big. 34-19 was the final score. So they're at 2 losses now. One of them's, by 15 points. The other one's at home to Kansas State. Do you think that necessarily knocks them out of contention this early? But it's like that's probably the 2 best losses that any group of 5 team could have, right?
It is, but it's like you really have to take care of business now.
Mm-hmm. They had to go probably undefeated at this point.
Yes. So but again, 2 very good losses. So I don't think it's like the end of the world for them.
Yeah, biggest game of their season now. Looking at the rest of their schedule, they have Memphis at home last week of the season. So still a good chance if Tulane goes into that game 9-2 and Memphis is continues to roll from where they're at right now. Good chance that could be a big setup for who gets that playoff spot. Okay, Oklahoma did also shout out. They looked good in that one as well. So LSU South Carolina. Let's talk about that game. That was a game that you and I were both big on in terms of it'll be interesting to see how did it play out. LSU was favored by 7 in this one. It looked like South Carolina was maybe just going to win the game outright for a little bit. They had the lead at halftime. And did they still have it go? Yeah, they still think they still had to go into the fourth quarter even, but LSU was able to get back in the game and win it. Final score 36-33. So, South Carolina covers, but not able to get the win. We both said that we thought there was a very good chance they could win outright. They were, running the ball very well all game long, but in the end, they just weren't able to quite get the job done.
Yeah, huge win for Brian Kelly. If they would have lost that one, it would have been immediate hot seat for him. So, sorry. No, it was a huge win. South Carolina, though, is for real, and they're going to give a lot of teams problems this year.
Yeah, no, they'll be like a week in, week out trap game for just everybody. It feels like, especially playing in the SEC. Yeah. It's gonna be a lot of big teams. Okay. Let's see what other games were interesting that I wanted to mention. Oh, A&M in Florida. Final score 33-20 in favor of A&M. Billy Napier's job fully in trouble now, right?
He should be gone.
Yeah. I was surprised that he was still the head coach at the end of Sunday because, usually it's that Sunday they get fired. didn't really seem like he knew what he was doing with the quarterbacks. Lagway obviously struggled much more in this one than he did against Samford, which, obviously it's higher competition. But I was still surprised that Florida was still just got dominated in this one. I thought that they would be more competitive, and I actually thought they'd maybe even straight up win the game. Obviously that didn't happen. Still would have maybe, if you have two quarterbacks, quarterbacks. Everybody knows that. It's just how do you expect one guy to get into rhythm if you have to keep switching them out?
You're also you're at the point where Lagway has to start every single game from here on out. I don't care what you like. You're going nowhere. There's no point in Graham Mertz seeing the field.
Yeah, start the guy with the higher ceiling. Just that's at the end of the day, that's all it comes down to, really. He's maybe Graham Mertz gives you a better chance to beat teams that you're slightly better than. If you want a guy that maybe is just gonna control the game, but even that, it's can he really even do that most of the time?
No, he's not a good quarterback.
But especially when you're gonna play teams that are better than you on a roster level, Lagway should always be the guy, because he's just the one who has a higher ceiling, has more opportunities to make big plays that can put you in a spot to win games. So doesn't really make sense to switch him in and out like that, but I guess that's the way that they're going to choose to do it. So
I before we get to our teams, there is actually one game that we should probably talk about. UCLA, if you're welcome to the Big Ten moment, is coming from Indiana in football. Gonna have a rough season ahead of you. They're a lot worse than I thought.
Yeah. Also, I guess shout out Indiana for some reason, because they, God knows why, have a 23% chance to make the playoff right now. I don't know. These math computer models just have to make zero sense.
Yeah, they're 3-0 with a dominating conference win.
Yeah, that's the only thing I have because most teams haven't played conference games yet.
No,
so I don't know why that. You had to think that the computer model can somehow take that into.
I think it's because they're the only one with a conference win.
Yeah, no, it is really stupid though. It doesn't really make sense. A couple other ones I did have down though too that we should probably mention. We both had the right beat on this one. Memphis was able to go into Florida State and win.
And Florida State season is over.
Yeah, it already was. Impressive stat, from Florida State. Already in the season, they were the first team in college football to officially hit their win total under for the season. So over-under was set at 9.5. They have already managed to smash the under in 3 weeks. So really impressive stuff from Florida State on that front.
I mean, if they only win 1 or 2 games, which I think they win maybe 3 or 4, if they win one, could we, maybe see Norvell maybe get canned there?
I actually think that if they win 4 or less, there's a realistic chance that he gets canned. Because you just can't do that. Because we do forget that it's this has been 2 or 3 years now where they just had really bad years, but he's just being saved by 1 or 2 really good years right now. So they have to be better down the stretch. They definitely can't just mail him in if he wants to keep his job by any means. Other ones of note, maybe Arizona State beat Texas State by 3 on the road. That was one that it wasn't super important really, but we did mention it because Texas State was another one that was, I think, top 5 or so in the odds to get a group of 5 bid. So beating a Power 4 team at home, would have been a resume builder for them, but they weren't able to get the job done. Another rivalry that kind of always seems to go hand in hand with Oregon State is Washington State. The old crossover. Washington suffers their first loss of the season, losing 24-19 at home. So Washington State is reclaiming the Apple Cup. Washington was looking solid there, I thought, the first couple of weeks, and we thought they could have been interesting this year. So, kind of tough loss, but at the same time, I don't think that's ends their season. Nobody really expected them to be anything crazy. Vandy Chris, the tears have been falling for him. Vandy's little Cinderella-esque start comes to a grinding halt as they lose to Georgia State. So just not, great look there. And finally, we can get into our teams before we go to commercial here. We can start with Nebraska this time because I think we talked Michigan first last time. But Nebraska, I mean, they handled their business. They beat Northern Iowa 34-3 at home. Another night game, a lot of fun. They cover the spread. Couple, notes from the game, though. Riley looked good again for most of it. He had his first interception of his college career. He was looking for Isaiah Nair on a deep, or maybe it was Jalen Lloyd. I don't remember which one. But he was looking for them on a deep post route. It was kind of just it was just a shot play where I think it was 3rd down. It didn't really matter. Kind of ended up being a punt. I liked that his interception came there, though. It's a great place to have it because it gets the monkey off the back, because then sometimes guys get too rigid. If you're still kind of, everybody's talking about how, you haven't turned the ball over. I do like that kind of got out of the way before we get in conference play. Run game, was pretty efficient again. was fun seeing some other playmakers getting involved. Ja'Cory Barney Jr. I think could be exciting for Nebraska this year. He's another freshman. Adds a very exciting kind of twist to this offense. Super fast. Him, Raiola, and then Carter Nelson, also the true freshman. I think they're technically listed him as a wide receiver this year, but the eventual plan is that he puts on more weight and switches to tight end. Nebraska kid, played 8-man football here in Nebraska. He caught his first touchdown of his career. So those 3 guys I think are going to be really fun to watch for the years to come in Nebraska. The one concerning, I think, factor, though, I will admit from this game is defense did get pushed a little bit more than I would have liked to see by Northern Iowa.
You and I ran the ball really well, which to Nebraska's favor, though, is what they've been known to do.
Yeah.
I think they lead the FCS in rushing, I think.
Probably close. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
I want to say that was the stat.
They're starting running back Ty Edwards. I know coming into this game already had over 300 yards in the season. So
yeah, no, they ran the ball well. But it's good though that, because in the first quarter it looked a little choppy. They were able to, put some drives together. But the fact that it came to nothing's big on Nebraska's part again. So they ran the ball enough, but Nebraska defense is still, I think, maybe a top 15 in the country.
No, I think I would still even go as far as saying like they're probably borderline top 10 still. Like I'm not gonna overreact to one game. Again, yeah, it wasn't perfect by any means, but they played a much better Colorado offense last week and dominated them from start to finish. So again, I will admit, yeah, it's like you always want to look for stuff that you can improve on game in and game out, but it's not like real concern for me by any means. So, but yeah, they got the win and they move on to conference play undefeated. Big game coming up on Friday that we'll talk about on Thursday. Michigan, they get the win against Arkansas State, 20-18. Scoreboard doesn't tell the whole story. Michigan was up, 20-3 going into the fourth, I think. Right?
It was 28-3. Should have scored to start the fourth. Should have been 35-3. Then the fourth kind of fizzles all the way down. Arkansas State scores a touchdown with 5 minutes left and then scores another touchdown with 8 seconds left. I watched the whole game. This was not a 10-point game, and there's many things to be very excited about if you're a Michigan fan, and then there's some, well,
yeah,
let's talk
things. Let's talk about the exciting thing. Davis Warren went 14 for 14 in this one with 122 yards, 3 of them were with the other team. So for those who haven't seen, he has been officially benched, which was a long time coming here for Michigan fans. A little surprising though, they're going with Orgy next week. You thought it was going to be who was the other?
I think
guy that they
Jack Tuttle.
Okay, yeah.
And I still think it is.
Well, they said they're starting Orgy this week.
Yeah, but Tuttle dressed for the first time this week, so I don't think against USC they're going to throw Jack Tuttle out there. I think if he was healthy enough, he would have played this week and then see how he felt. Because I cannot wrap my head around the fact that Sherrod Moore and this coaching staff saw what we had in the offseason at quarterback and just did nothing about it. Like, you just can't do that, especially with the amount of talent you're returning. Like, that's how you get fired. So I might just be delusional and it's all in my head. I'm thinking Jack Tuttle's been the guy from, the beginning, but he's been hurt the entire year so far. Lord help me, man.
Yeah, that's best case scenario. You guys got a huge game coming up as well.
The positives, though, Michigan ran the ball incredibly well. And if they can do that against USC, and now you also had an Alex Orgy who just adds another threat to that run game, I just want to see smash mouth, fuck you football, run it down their mouth, because I don't think USC is a good defensive team. So I think they should be able to do that.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely what the game plan has to be against USC. That's the only way I think that you can, really have a chance to.
I mean, to be fair, also, Alex Orgy's, I think, thrown 4 passes this year and has as many touchdowns as Davis Warren.
No, Davis Warren he sucks very bad. Not a good year.
I don't even think he's that bad. He's just such a bad decision maker.
He
makes some throws. That's
pretty
incredible.
important though to playing quarterback.
Yes, but maybe if we can,
it's like saying like Joe Milton's good if he just didn't throw to the other team.
Well, no, that's not just other team. He's just not an accurate quarterback.
Right.
And I also Davis Warren threw 3 picks. One of them was completely not his fault. Right tackle got absolutely bullied by an Arkansas State defender, hit his elbow mid throw, and it just came out flat.
Yeah,
I will not put the blame on him, but yeah, no, if they don't figure out the quarterback, this team's going to lose 4 or 5 games.
Okay, I forgot to update the graphic with it this week, but can maybe take a quick browse through the AP poll. Maybe talk about some things of note. A&M back into the poll at 25 after their win. I mean, I think it's fair, I guess. I mean, obviously Florida's not great, but their one loss comes to Notre Dame, who I still don't think is bad by any means. I think Notre Dame's still definitely a top 10 team in the country. They just had a bad week. Illinois appears in the rankings 3-0. I think they deserve it at 24. I think it's also fun that that's a ranked matchup now on Friday with Nebraska. Northern Illinois, shout out to the AP voters. They actually didn't drop them out of the rankings. They actually moved them up. They had a bye week, so they're up to 23. Nebraska climbs 1 spot to 22. Clemson up a spot to 21. I think that they could still very, very well be higher. Yeah. They had an off week, though, so tough to move them up too high when they don't play. Iowa State's up to 20. Louisville's up to 19. I will say, actually, with Iowa State, I do think they're a good team, but Iowa might not be as good as we thought they were either, because they really struggled with Troy this week.
Yeah,
we forgot to mention that earlier.
Yeah.
Louisville stays put. They had a bye week. Michigan drops a spot. Nothing too crazy. Notre Dame just flip-flopped with Michigan. LSU and Oklahoma both stay put. Oklahoma State drops a spot, and that's just due to Kansas State coming up. USC and Utah stay put at 11 and 12. Penn State drops a couple spots to 10. They had an off week. That's more just, again, product of other teams playing. Oregon stays at 9. Miami, Florida up to 8. Missouri down to 7. Tennessee up to 6. And then the top 5 stayed almost true, except at the very top. Ole Miss, Alabama, Ohio State at 5, 4, 3. And then, of course, Georgia and Texas flips. So Texas, number 1 in the country, I think, for the first time since like 2008 or something. So
yeah, something crazy like that.
Yeah, shout out to the Longhorns, I guess, making the return to the top. That'll wrap up, though, the week 3 recap for college football. We'll get back more into some college football stuff come Thursday when we preview week 4. But before we move forward with the rest of the episode, let's get to a quick commercial break. And then when we come back, we're going to break down week 2 in the NFL. And then, of course, finish up with Rock Hard Takes, Kelly's Kiki Ranking, and, of course, take a look at our bets still as well coming up. So we'll be back soon here on Rock Hard Ball. We're part of Dogs Media Network at Culture Ball Dogs, and we will see you in a minute.
On the College Football Dogs website, you'll find a main page that features some of our biggest and newest stories. Our conference pages for content related to your favorite team's conference. Our team store, where we have products that are available all year long, as well as gear available for a limited time only. Our podcast page, where you can see when one of the 12-plus College Football Dogs podcasts is streaming live on social media. Our subscription page, where you can join our Discord. If you're interested in becoming a contributor at College Football Dogs, email us at info@collegefootballdogs.com. If you enjoy any College Football Dogs content, we really do appreciate any donations you can make by visiting the donate page on our website or scanning the QR code here.
College Football Dogs, for the fans.
All righty, welcome back to Rock Hard Ball, again, part of the Dogs Media Network at College Football Dogs. Render, check out the website, collegefootballdogs.com. Lots of great stuff coming out every single week, previews and recaps. I'll plug myself. Had the Nebraska recap there from Saturday, so if you haven't checked that out yet, go check that out. Shared it on my Twitter at Karter Longy, or you can find it on the College Football Dogs website. So we'll get into the NFL now. Gets a little bit of a recap going with that stuff. Here's some of the major headlines. The first one we're going to get into right away, obviously a product of the games as well, but more, just a season thing. Bryce Young has been officially benched in favor of Andy Dalton today. So we're going to get into that a little bit. Marvin Harrison Jr. and Kyler Murray put on a show there against the Rams. We'll talk about that. The Saints are apparently the greatest show on turf for God knows why. I don't know where that came from, but I guess they are. And then we'll just get into what else is going on around the league. And then finally, of course, we got Monday Night Football going on live right now. 3-point game right now between the Eagles and the Falcons. 6 minutes left to go in the fourth. Falcons are trying to drive, so we'll talk about what happens in that game as well before we get out of here. But let's run it back all the way to Thursday. So I guess we did talk about Thursday.
We did talk about Thursday.
But yeah, Bills crushed the Dolphins. For those who don't remember, Tua died. Hope he's okay. But that did happen. So we'll talk about that. And then let's get this off here. Actually, let's go back to that. Okay. So first things first, let's talk about Bryce Young. So he has officially been benched in favor of Andy Dalton. Brutal start to his career. Former number 1 overall pick, and now he finds himself benched. 2 weeks into his second year in the league. Feel bad for the guy to a point, but at the same time, you eventually have to find a way to overcome. If Andy Dalton is just as bad or worse, then maybe we can go back to having a conversation about the Panthers just being the worst organization of all time. But for right now, it doesn't look good for Bryce Young.
No, but Again, it'll be different once we see how they look with Andy Dalton. But I mean, the team's just god awful. Again, if Andy Dalton has this team looking like any more competent than it already is, then yeah, it's a big problem. And then the bust talks will start coming up. I don't know what to think though. I mean, they've just gotten their asses kicked back-to-back weeks by not great teams.
Yeah, I mean his stats, his career stats just look brutal. So he's played 18 games now. He's completing less than 60% of his passes. He's just over 3,000 yards. His yards per pass, like completion, is 5.4. So obviously, not really pushing the ball downfield. He has 11 touchdowns to 13 interceptions on his career. And specifically this year, he has no touchdowns to 3 picks so far. He just, hasn't looked good by any stat or metric that you can imagine.
He broke a record this week. He had the most completions in an NFL game with under 100 yards.
Yeah, no, not good. Kobe posed a good question here. Would you rather be a Bears quarterback or a Panthers quarterback? Embrace debate.
Well, so like, does everybody think I'm awful, or like, am I going to be dead by the fourth quarter?
Yeah, it's. I almost kind of want to hold off on this because we'll talk more about Sunday Night Football later. But I mean, historically, I think the Bears are still worse. But on the flip side, I mean, I think Caleb Williams is better than Bryce Young. But the trade will forever, live on for just being such a brutal blunder by the Panthers. I don't, remember exactly. Like they tweeted the details of it again earlier today.
DJ Moore, Caleb Williams,
Montez Sweat.
Did that pick technically get flipped for him?
Yeah.
Montez Sweat. The O lineman. I'm blanking on his name right now.
I'm trying to find it here on Twitter. I know I saw it.
Darnell Wright, I believe.
Yeah.
Darnell Wright.
Yeah, right.
Oh, and Roman Dunze, I believe, as well.
Yeah.
One of those two had to have been the Bears pick because they had 2 first-round picks. Because those two were both in this draft. One of them had to have been the Bears' original pick, right?
Or it might have been Darnell, and then
I don't know.
Why does this take me so goddamn long enough? Okay, I found it. So Carolina's 2025 second-round pick is still going to Chicago as the final piece of the Bryce Young trade. That went like this. Panthers received Bryce Young. Bears received DJ Moore, the pick that turned into Darnell Wright, second-round pick that turned into Tyreek Stevenson, Caleb Williams, and then, again, that pick that they still have this year. So, yeah, horrible
Yeah, I mean,
job.
Like one of the worst in sports history.
Yeah, and again, it'll depend on like what we actually end up getting from Caleb Williams long term. But yeah, right now looks horrible, and it'll always be connected. So we'll see what happens with Bryce Young in the future. You hate to write off a guy's career this early. I really do think a lot of it's due to just how bad, his line play, his weapons, his coaching, his ownership has all been in his career. But we'll see what happens. Also, I guess we might as well just mention it while we're here. The game ended 26-3. Chargers won. Again, just kind of dominated on defense, pounded the rock. J.K. Dobbins made it through another week, so shout out. Let's hope he can continue to stay healthy. Gus Edwards also ran the ball well, so yeah. Quinton Johnson also can catch.
Yeah, Big Cat had a great quote. He's like, Jim Harbaugh's changed the culture so much. Quinton Johnson is now catching touchdowns.
Yeah, no, pretty crazy. Let's go to the Packers. Looks good. No J Love. We were pretty mean to Malik Willis in the the preview there on Thursday, as I think every single person in America was, because by anybody who ever had watched Malik Willis play NFL football before, you assume that he was a very bad quarterback. But in this one, hats off. They didn't ask him to do a lot, but he did his job well. He went 12 for 14 passing, 122 yards. Obviously, that's nothing, too stellar, but that's 8.7 yards completion, which isn't
he did what he had to do.
Bad number. Yeah, threw a touchdown.
Obviously, LaFleur cooked up a good game plan, which it should have been. Run the damn ball. They did that. Josh Jacobs, 32 for 151. I mean, he's looked very good this year.
No, I think Matt LaFleur was just an absolute, masterclass really in this one. I think really great game planning. I thought, Cass said Malik Willis better than Caleb Williams yesterday. If you want to go straight by their games yesterday, yeah, he was better. Do I think Malik Willis is more talented than Caleb Williams? Absolutely not. I'm not, insane. But again, shout out to Josh Jacobs too. Hell of a game. He carried the ball over 30 times for 150 yards. I was really impressed. I was worried with Jordan Love being out. Apparently, they said there was like an actual real chance that Love was going to maybe go yesterday. Thank God he didn't. Obviously,
I also think this proves don't rush him.
Yeah, don't rush him.
The Titans next.
Yeah,
like there's no need for it.
Yeah, and I'd love to see Malik go in there, have a good game against the team that gave up on him for good reason. But team may give up on him, go have another good game. Just dominate the ground again. Defense played well. Force some turnovers, stuff like that. Anthony Richardson also
this was
concerning game from him.
I
Probably
would
the
say
worst of his career.
It's his worst performance yet. First time he looked human. The game plan was also really crazy to me. Jonathan Taylor had 12 carries for 130 yards. We're having Anthony Richardson, throw it 35 times. I mean, that's not going to bring success. I don't see why that's the point. Because look at the other side of the team. When you have a running back as good as he is, who's dominating the game, give it to him 30 times. So it makes no sense. Yeah, I mean, 1 touchdown, 3 picks. He did not look good.
Nope, bad game.
The one was at the Hail Mary at halftime, so I
yeah,
won't call that one.
The one though that
at the end of the game.
The one that he just overthrew his receiver though by like 10 yards was really bad.
Yeah, that was Joe Milton-esque.
Yeah. Packers win though, so I'm very happy. Let's go to the next game. We'll talk about the Cardinals. Marvin Harrison Jr., Kyler Murray put on a show against the Rams, end up winning the game by a final score of 41-10. Marvin Harrison Jr. had 4 catches for like 130 yards, a couple touchdowns. Didn't really, those all came like the first quarter, I think, too.
Yeah.
So that was pretty crazy. Got 8 targets overall in the game. They started playing a lot tighter though too. So really good game. Kyler Murray though, even more impressive I think than Marvin Harrison Jr. was.
He was
looked
avoiding everything, scrambling.
Looked like a video game.
It was ridiculous.
Yeah. Perfect pass rating.
We both said it though all season. Like this team could, be a real team. To be fair, I don't think, they're gonna throttle teams like the Rams all year. But if this is what we're gonna get from Marv, and then you also have weapons like Trey McBride, watch out.
James Conner also still looks good.
Looks very good.
Got Trey Benson too, catching passes out of the backfield. He hasn't had a huge role yet, but I think he will a little bit eventually. But yeah, exciting win from the Cardinals, I thought, on all fronts. Maybe even the bigger story though still is the Rams are in trouble. I think. Kupp's now down with an injury, heading to IR. Puka's already gone to the IR.
Their O-line is completely
schedule.
banged up. I think they're still rocking a lot of second stringers for the offensive line.
Their schedule coming up, they have Niners at home. That's obviously going to be a very tough game. They go to the Bears, which maybe they'll figure out some offensive stuff by then. Who knows? Then they have the Packers at home. I would assume Jordan Love's probably back by then based on the way they're talking about it. So that'll be a very tough game. And then they have the Raiders at home, Vikings at home. So not the worst schedule, but definitely potential to drop some games there and could quickly be on the way outside looking in for the playoff picture, after an 0-2 start.
Yeah, so, it's not looking good.
Yep. Okay. Moving forward here, what's next? We got Jets. They bounced back after their, week 1 loss to the Niners. They went down to Tennessee, took on, Will Levis and the Titans, and, Titans aren't anything too special, I don't think, but I just read Weezy's note. I didn't even look at this yet. Will Levis continues to make stupid fucking plays that hurt the team.
I don't even know if that was my quote or the head coach's. Do you see that clip?
Yeah.
That's something you also don't want to do.
Also, Will Levis is on a Hall of Fame run of freeze frame shots of him doing just super funny things.
Oh my God.
But for anybody who does not understand that, what's the head coach of the OC? I totally forget who made that quote. Maybe he was even the QB's coach. One of the coaches, though, post game said, "Hey, we saw that you right after the Levis awful decision to try to lateral it, Jets recover it. Pretty much said, what the fuck are you doing?" And then in the post game, instead of being he's still our guy, he just needs to be smarter. He pretty much just ripped on him and said, "Yeah, hey, the things that you're doing is costing us big time. 2 plays in the red zone, two turnovers." It's getting concerning. No,
it's definitely concerning for the Titans. Yeah, not a great start to the year so far for the first and second year guys by any means. Let's shift gears though a little bit because there's not really a whole lot to discuss in that game other than just Will Levis is concerning a little bit right now. But Lions and Buccaneers. Buccaneers continue to look good. Baker wasn't quite as stellar as he was in week 1, but still had a efficient performance for the Buccaneers. Goff threw the ball 55 times for the Lions, threw a couple picks, and Lions drop one at home to a Buccaneers team that I think they probably would have liked to beat. Weezy, I'll just turn it over to you though here as the resident Lions fan.
Being on Twitter after that game was ridiculous. I wasn't that mad following the loss. It's the NFL. You're not going to win them all. Obviously, I'd like to win this game. Detroit's a better team than Tampa Bay. All of America would still say that's true. But you would have thought like hell was freezing over in like Detroit. There was some like pretty popular Detroit like sports media companies tweeting about Hendon Hooker starting the second half, like saying like please save us. Which you just have to be the most brain dead person to think that. Total yards in the game: Detroit 463. They almost had 500. Tampa Bay 216. Aiden Hutchinson had 4.5 sacks. They just couldn't convert.
Yeah, offense.
It's week. It's week 2. Like they'll improve on that. The one big thing to me though is while Jameson Williams has looked so much better in his third year, finally looking like the guy that we drafted 12th overall, I think Sam Laporta has 2 catches this year. Which I mean, Ben Johnson, what are we doing?
Yeah, very concerning.
We get one of our better playmakers the ball, please.
Especially for my one fantasy team that has Sam Laporta. Yeah, Ben Johnson. Let's figure it out.
But no, I'm not worried about that team.
No, I think they're fine too. Got lots of just kind of random stuff going on early in the year. Let's go to the Saints next, or should I say, the greatest show on turf, because they are playing out of their minds right now. It does not make sense. This week, last week they did it to the Panthers, and everybody's like, it's the Panthers. The Panthers suck. They go to Dallas now against a Cowboys team who is universally thought of to be. Yes, they choke in the playoffs a lot, but they constantly have one of the best rosters in the NFL, and they usually still do perform in the regular season. They went in there and just pumped them. 44 points scored. Alvin Kamara had 4 touchdowns himself. Rashid Shaheed looks like he might be very good. Derek Carr apparently has found, that old Derek Carr. I don't know, whatever you want to call it, gene or something. I don't know, but he's playing good. And yeah, they just run up the score on the Cowboys. Are the Saints like maybe more real than we thought, or is this just kind of some weird like?
This has got to be weird, man. They scored 91 points in the first 2 games. We sat here all offseason saying that this offense is going to be bad and like
just mundane.
What are they doing with the Derek Carr? I mean, it's got to end soon.
Does it?
It has to. This single-handedly cannot keep going. As much as the Saints offense looked great and it has the first 2 weeks, Dallas just, they were in the news all offseason. They got to wake up.
Yeah.
They haven't looked great, either the first 2 weeks. So I don't know what to think though. I laid a decent amount of money on Cowboys, minus 6.5, and that was over after the first quarter.
Yeah, very just shocking result. By all accounts, I don't really know what to say because, if they continue to do it, then like maybe we just had it all wrong with the Saints. Maybe they are just good. Like you never know. It seems like there is always a team like every year that just comes out of nowhere and it's like way better than
Rashid Shaheed taking an extra step because he's been unbelievable in the first 2 games as well.
That's good.
Yeah.
I just like to hear it's me, Sean Payton.
It's Kevin James.
Yeah. Okay, let's move down the list here. Get to some of the other games going through. Vikings shocked the Niners at home. Sam Darnold continues to play well for the Vikings. And then of course you had, Justin Jefferson doing his thing. Niners turned the ball over a couple times. Purdy threw a pick. He also lost a fumble. I don't think there's really much to overreact with this game. I think the Vikings.
I also think like this was so obvious once everybody saw that the spread was like 4. Like I'm not shocked by this. No, the Vikings though shockingly look pretty good. I think a fall from earth though is going to come pretty soon here. Sam Darnold is not going to keep playing like he is right now. But while he is, Colin Cowherd continues to tweet him, and that's making my days. So,
Seahawks beat the Patriots 23-20. Don't care. Commanders.
Right.
Sorry, I just don't.
Just skip over it.
What would you like to discuss about the Seahawks and the Patriots game, Colin?
Stevenson, keep running that ball. He quick as fuck, man. He's getting me points. Love him.
All right. Yeah. Shout out Ramondre Stevenson. He has been good.
He's good.
Commanders. There was a Patriots fan who finally tunes in for the first time. He's like, "Oh, finally they're coming to my game." And this guy just goes, "All right, well, fuck this game. We don't care about this one. All right, what's next? Now we're gonna go 10 minutes in depth about the Giants and Commanders."
Well, hell yeah, we are, because for the first time in NFL history, we had a team score 3 touchdowns. We had another team score 0 touchdowns, and the team that scored 0 touchdowns won. So that was super fun. Commanders able to kick 7 field goals. Compared to the Giants scored. Did you not know?
7?
Yeah. Commanders made 7 field goals. Giants scored 3 touchdowns. Commanders won. So absolute just wild to look at from that perspective. really good game from Jaden Daniels.
Daniel Jones too.
Had a good. Let's just pretend like that didn't happen.
We don't
want to start. We don't want to start a narrative that like he might,
He's
be okay. So we gotta avoid that by all costs. But Jaden Daniels did it with his arm.
It was more
legs a
so
little
the
bit.
league neighbors coming out party.
Oh,
I mean, every single ball went his way.
I just was talking
Love
about the
it.
winning team
Love
first.
it.
Okay.
But yeah, no, go ahead. Yeah, talk about neighbors.
No, he's really good. He's a stud. They finally started, just throwing the ball his way, which is going to work. They might be able to win a game this year if that happens.
Yep.
But since I cut you off and I'm the bad guy, you can talk about the Commanders.
No, I mean, I was kind of finishing up, but yeah, my biggest takeaway was that Jaden Daniels looked really good. Obviously, Commanders are going to want to start, finishing drives with touchdowns eventually. But I think it was very good from a Commander's perspective to see, like, yeah, he still carried the ball 10 times, but like that Jaden Daniels can do it like with his arm, not just his legs. Because obviously in week 1, like he was good, but a lot of that was just him, running the ball. And obviously that's just not going to be sustainable forever, but it's a nice compliment. But obviously quarterbacks also throw the ball. So I think that was really big for them to see out of him. But yes, you're right. Neighbors was
not true. And then also I think with this game, it's, been the talk of the town after this weekend. NFL kickers have become very good all of a sudden. Like, they're unbelievable.
They're unbelievable.
They're 32 for 36 from 50 plus this year. And half of those misses are from the greatest kicker of all time.
Yeah, no, it is crazy. I've seen stats all over.
I think it may have taken.
I should have saved some of them, but like I saw the breakdown of the one like 2000, 2010, 2020, and then like this year of like the kicker splits. And I mean, there's like a 20 or 30% difference in just overall field goals and 50 plus from like 20 years
in the year 2000. They went 500 on 50 yarders. Like that was like a genuine like concern.
I saw the one too that was like Sebastian Janikowski used to be talked about like as like he's got this massive leg and like he's always just hitting these big field goals. Somebody went back and looked and like Sebastian Janikowski like the one year like or there was there was like 10 like made field goals from 50 plus. He had half of them, but he was still like 5 for like 10. Yeah. It's like that's you get cut now if you do that.
I mean, embrace debate. It's making football not as much fun.
I could agree a little bit. Like
I mean, it's really annoying when like a kicker
you still feel
shots out for a 59-yarder. And you're like, okay, well, this is good.
Yeah. No,
it makes watching defense
weird.
Brutal too.
It is
like,
weird.
As
Yeah.
They get to the 40, they're getting points this drive.
No, I agree. Which is also weird too when you look at it from this perspective as like teams are going for it more out. Oh my god, teams are going for it way more often now too. So it's like kickers are getting better, but we're also going for more on fourth down. So I mean, obviously offense and just in general has been driving the NFL for the past couple of years and will continue. But yes, the kicker, revolution is worth noting. I saw that one interesting take too. It's like, are we going to get to a point soon where like kickers are going to start getting paid more than running backs? Right now, like Saquon, what was Saquon's deal? Like 12, 13 million, something like that, or maybe a little more.
13 a year, I think.
13 a year, and like Jacobs got like I think 12, I think with the Packers. Harrison Butker's deal this year with the Chiefs was 8 million a year. That's not that far behind, like when you think about it in hindsight. So there actually might be a realistic conversation at some point for some teams where they're like, is our kicker more valuable than having a good running back? And then they're going to pay him more. So really, really interesting stuff, I think, on that front. Browns beat the Jaguars 18-13. Saw a stat, Trevor Lawrence hasn't won a game since Thanksgiving of last year. A little concerning, I think, for the Jags and T-Law. I mean, I didn't really watch this game, so
no, neither did I. But I think it's full panic mode if I'm the Jaguars. Like Trevor Lawrence, we've been asking you to take that step. He really hasn't. The only bright side of this team right now is Brian Thomas Jr. is a freak.
Yeah.
He's been unbelievable and deep threat. And then Deshaun Watson, he didn't do anything illegal this week, so that's the win.
You got a rushing touchdown.
Yeah.
Yeah. I saw, I can't remember who it was on Twitter. Someone was like, might have been one of the Achos was like, holy crap, are we getting the old Deshaun Watson back? So he made a good throw. And like,
oh, yes, I did see
someone replied and was like, he still is awful and should not be playing football. Yes. So it's like, no, we're not getting the old Deshaun Watson back. So yeah. Raiders, upset of the week, beating the Ravens on the road, 26-23. Minshew magic in full effect. He had that one throw that was like really, really pretty. And the Ravens kind of struggled to get things going on offense. It was kind of a rock fight for most of it, and then the Raiders were able to just pull away and win it at the end. I actually didn't watch a ton of this game, but I mean, shout out to the Raiders for.
Yeah, no, I watched a decent amount.
It's a good game.
Brock Bowers, I would argument's already a top 5
He's fucking
tight end.
He's so good.
I saw the
he's
one
so
meme on Twitter. It was like Lightning McQueen and Jackson Storm. It was like Brock Bowers and Travis Kelce.
I did see that.
Yeah.
And also Minshew obviously loves him. He's a PPR freak too. I mean, 9 for 100 from a rookie tight end in week 2 is huge.
So nice.
He's what Kyle Pitts should have been.
Do we semi start panicking about Baltimore? First time they're 0-2 since 2015. I mean, Lamar hasn't looked great.
I don't think it's like full blown panic, but I think it's definitely worth being like concerned about like the division title. I think at least a little bit, maybe.
Okay, yeah.
At the same time, though, their number one should be competitors also maybe a little bit semi panic with the Bengals that we'll get to. But AFC North, I mean, we knew it was going to be interesting coming into the season, but I think it just got even more interesting, after the first 2 weeks.
Yeah, sure.
Speaking of, let's get to the other AFC North games. Steelers beat the Broncos 13-6. I mean, they're just gonna win games like this all season long, right?
Yeah.
It's so awful to watch too.
This game was brutal. Bo Nix.
Bo Picks.
He's bad. And like, I don't know if we can keep just rolling him out there.
It's so weird. I mean, like, yeah, we had to try not to get too ahead of ourselves in the preseason, but it's like he was so good, and like a good chunk of his drives did come against like number one defenses, and now he's just falling apart in like the regular season.
Dude, it's just tough to watch. It's tough to watch this little dumps. I can't stand. I mean, it's bad. It's really bad. Which also, though, unfair. Steelers defense is still incredible.
Yeah,
it's just boring football to watch.
No, I don't like watching Steelers games at all because they dink and dunk on offense, and then the defense, is just very good and makes the other team just punt the ball. So, I mean, we don't got to get too much into it. Like you said, the biggest takeaway is probably just that a little concerning about how bad Bo Nix has all of a sudden been to start this season. But shout out to Steelers 2-0. So again, making the AFC North race interesting, as the Bengals have also dropped to 0-2 to start the year. Chiefs beat them 26-25 on a last-second field goal. I think it was a quote on like part of my take. To any fans out there, it's like yes, you can hate the Chiefs for being like so good and like all that stuff, but I know the ref's narrative is very popular with the Chiefs. This one was a PI at the end of the game. For anybody who was paying attention, that last play when they threw downfield and they called the pass interference, definitely was. He was there early on the back. It happens. I mean, it's football. But a good game from the Bengals. Again, they always play the Chiefs tough. They're the one team that seems to give them trouble. But at the end of the day, they couldn't get it done. Also, shout out Nebraska alumni Cam Taylor-Britt. That interception was ridiculous.
Yes. The concerning thing with football fans is not like the refs. I don't think Patrick Mahomes was really bad in Patrick Mahomes standards. Maybe one of his worst games since his rookie year, and they still find a way to beat the Bengals. That's terrifying.
Yeah, they're a very, very good football team.
Like, these are games the last 2 years that like the Chiefs would end up losing. And then people, we debate how good they are. They'd go win a Super Bowl. Like, it didn't fucking matter. But the fact that they were still able to win this with Mahomes not looking great, threw 2 interceptions, only threw for 150 yards, which I think is his lowest amount since coming into the league.
Probably, yeah. I mean, I don't even know though. It might even still be like, it's got to be close to his maybe his lowest ever too. Because I mean, you think about it, that first, remember, he didn't start his first year. He played one game at the very end of the season, and then his second year when he was the first year starter, he won the MVP.
Yeah,
so,
no, exactly.
He's been just ridiculous.
I'm pretty sure I saw a stat. I don't know if it was his lowest ever.
But yeah, regardless.
What I mean, yeah.
Low
and
game.
then also, I'm full panic mode too. If you own Travis Kelce in fantasy, I'd get rid of him. It's clear with the amount of playmakers they have, they're not going to feed him like they have in the years past.
Yeah, no, I think he'll still get his like come playoffs, like
yeah, but
because that's when that's when they flip the switch. But fantasy football is different. Also, Jamar Chase grow up. I mean, right?
No, seriously, he's causing a lot of problems.
No, it's not good. They got to get that figured out. It's not good for the team. So, yeah.
At what point can a teammate like Joe Burrow just say, "Grow the fuck up, man"?
Yeah, I don't know. That because I'm assuming like most of that stems from that penalty he got, like crying to the ref, shit like that. And Burrow did look pissed too, like when he pulled him away, and he did not look happy with Jamar Chase. And yeah, it's definitely concerning, I think, over there in Cincinnati. But
I mean, it's a team with aspirations of a Super Bowl, and he's making it all about himself.
Yeah, fully agree.
And wow, Falcons take the lead with 40 seconds left.
Yeah, No timeouts.
34
downfield. That
My
was
bad.
crazy.
I couldn't see.
Wow, that was good. That was really good.
Drake London
Drake London.
Hey, started out with Darnell Mooney.
back to playing football again. Before we get to the final score of Monday Night Football, as it kind of finishes wrapping up here, let's talk Sunday Night Football. Last night's primetime game. We had the Texans and the Bears. Clyde, tough look for the Bears. Caleb Williams is going to get just mauled all season because that was an embarrassing performance by the Bears offensive line. Caleb Williams was hit 11 times, sacked 7 times. Shout out to the Texans. Like, we knew they were going to be good. They are good. That defensive line, I think, is even better than people thought it was probably going to be. Because the Bears' offensive line was thought to have been much improved this past offseason through the draft and through free agency.
They suck.
And they got just torn apart by the Texans. CJ Stroud, still very good. Joe Mixon returned to earth this week, though. Didn't just run all over them. But yeah, I think it's definitely panic mode for the Bears. Not so much in terms of like Caleb Williams not being good as a talent or anything, but more of like, we got to figure out a way to protect him. So
we have also news in this football game. Drake London got an unsportsmanlike conduct, which makes this go ahead extra point very long. But kickers are very good.
Cool. So. Let's go. All right. They're up.
All right, 22-21. But yeah, did you have any thoughts you wanted to add with Sunday Night Football there?
Yes, I have a handful of things to talk about. One, Caleb Williams, Clyde's over there saying he sucks. As a Bears fan, I would understand why. That O-line's really bad, and it's even worse when you pay a guy like DeAndre Swift and he had 14 carries for 18 yards. When you literally cannot run the ball, it's impossible to throw the ball. The only thing with Caleb is he danced out of a lot of sacks, but like, it's still the NFL. Guys are way too talented and way too athletic to be making like some of the throws, on the scramble were just not good decisions. Throw it away.
Yeah. No, I saw the one tweet that like summed it up perfectly. It was like Caleb, like it was that one really crazy one where like he spun away and they like ripped his jersey off and stuff like that. And it was like last year this is a 70-yard touchdown in the Pac-12. This year it's an interception. Like that's just what it is. When you move to the NFL.
And then my hottest take here might be a homer pick, but I don't care. I think Nico Collins is flirting with being the best receiver in the league.
Oh yeah, no, he's disgusting. That guy's an animal.
He is 6'4", 220 something, who is so quick. Because this Bears defense is unbelievable. Like after the first quarter, their only offense was Nico Collins.
Yeah, I actually loved the NBC comparison that they made on the broadcast. Like they like a Nico Collins, like Andre Johnson, like highlight reel, like side by side. Like yeah, he does kind of look like Andre Johnson, like just physical freak.
Which then also stems into how much better guys can get when they get an unreal quarterback.
Yeah.
Because he was good at Michigan. Michigan coaches at the time decided he could only run go routes. So his route tree at Michigan was just go deep, which turns out he will kill any DB on a quick slant.
Yep.
We found that out.
And then run over the safeties behind him.
Yeah, seriously. And then obviously his first few years with the Texans, he wasn't great by any means. And then him and CJ Stroud are going to be a very fun duo for a while.
Yeah, no, exciting team. They're going to be in contention to, be a Super Bowl contender just year in and year out. I think for years. So very exciting on that front. Kobe says Kirk Cousins again threw that touchdown pass Drake London to put the Falcons ahead 22-21. Still got 27 seconds left in this game, and the Eagles still do have a timeout. That being said, we are kind of getting to the time spot here where we got to take another quick little timeout. So we're going to go to commercial here really fast. When we come back, maybe we'll start kind of recapping Monday Night Football. Maybe we'll get into maybe we'll do Rock Hard Bets and we'll recap Monday Night Football, something like that. But for now, we'll get to a quick commercial. But you're listening to Rock Hard Ball, part of the Dogs Media Network at Culture Ball Dogs. We will be right back.
On the College Football Dogs website, you'll find a main page that features some of our biggest and newest stories. Our conference pages for content related to your favorite team's conference. Our team store, where we have products that are available all year long, as well as gear available for a limited time only. Our podcast page, where you can see when one of the 12-plus College Football Dogs podcasts is streaming live on social media. Our subscription page, where you can join our Discord. If you're interested in becoming a contributor at College Football Dogs, email us at info@collegefootballdogs.com. If you enjoy any College Football Dogs content, we really do appreciate any donations you can make by visiting the donate page on our website or scanning the QR code here.
College Football Dogs, for the fans.
Okay. Welcome back. Rock Hard Ball, Pro Dogs Media Network at College Football Dogs. Again, check out the website, collegefootballdogs.com. Also, check out our socials here at Rock Hard Ball. We appreciate it at Rock Hard Ball and at Rock Hard Ball Pod on all the major platforms, scrolling across the bottom there. So go give those.
Booming.
TikTok is booming a little bit. Got the clips going. So that's good. But Monday Night Football did just wrap up. Kobe dropped a comment here. He said, did the Falcons score too soon? And he corrected himself. Never mind. Jalen Hurts still not good at quarterback. Sticking with my agenda there. I was just talking about that in the break as we watched that pick happen. So Falcons win this one 22-21. Big bounce back after, everybody said that they were, not looking good there in the first week. I didn't get to watch, most of the game. So we're going to bring in our resident Monday Night Football expert here, Clyde, if he'll put his headphones on and pay attention. But it appears Kirk had a good game, 20 for 29, 2 touchdowns. Looks like Bijan had a good game. Mooney had a couple catches. Drake London got involved. Clyde, what would you like to add some insight here? You were the one guy that kind of paid attention to the game. So
yeah, the second half, Sack Bark, he did really good second half. First half, he was really shit. They really good run D. Yeah, he actually dropped the game-winning touchdown, so that's kind of all falls onto him. Darnell Mooney, hell of a day, 3 catches for like 88 yards and a touch. Yeah, he had a touchdown too. So I mean,
That's such a Darnell Mooney line.
yeah,
I love it. He gets like 2 or 3 targets a game, but it's like 100 yards.
Yep.
Talk about a guy with one route tree, just go route. That's Darnell Mooney.
Yeah, I love it. Big Kirko,
Kirk Chain's back.
He needed this. He really needed this. But
Especially after that clip of him like slowly jogging in practice. They're like Kirk Cousins throwing on the run. It's like everybody in the comments is like, what? Like he's walking.
yeah, this is a really bad look for Philadelphia.
Yeah.
It's really bad.
That good win by the Falcons again. But I mean, Philadelphia, obviously one you would have liked to win at home, especially after how the Falcons looked last week. I don't think this is a huge indictment against them by any means. Obviously it's still a close game, stuff like that. But again, the bigger thing here is that Falcons 100% needed this after getting, just really clamped by the Steelers last week. They scored 10 points, really struggled on offense all day. Now they have to play the Chiefs. So big win going into Sunday Night Football for next week, I think. All right, that'll do it though for the NFL recaps. We'll look forward to week 3 on Thursday. We'll get you previewed up for that. So make sure you tune in to that on Thursday night, 9 Central. Let's get into our bets. We won't, go super in depth on this, but we always like to give you guys an update on how the week went. Got to take accountability for the picks. So another week that we both go 500, actually, 2 weeks in a row that we've each gone 500. So as you can see, we both hit on South Carolina +7. I feel like that was, one of the easier bets of the week. Got a little dicey towards the end of that game.
Yeah, it did.
But when it might have went to overtime. However, they do get the job done on the cover. Go ahead.
If we could actually, because when I bet him that morning, I only got him at 6.
Oh, that's even scarier.
It was
I had him
like
at 7,
it
so
was
that was a little more
it was the ultimate and there's something so fun about when this happens, but also so terrifying. So obviously I'm rooting for South Carolina in the entire game, and then they go down 3 though, right? And they get the ball back with a chance to tie it up. And I don't want overtime. They're covering. If they get to overtime, I only have them at 6. Like very good chance. Obviously they don't cover. So after rooting for them for 59 minutes, I just became the biggest LSU fan for that last drive.
Yeah,
and it worked out. But I always think it's funny when that happens.
Yeah, no, good cover though by South Carolina. Got the jobs done. We'll get this comment up, I guess, really quick too. We talked about it a little bit earlier, but got a new listener, so we'll shout him out. Champy, good to see you in here. Thanks for joining in the show. Put the NFC on notice on Sunday. Marvin Harrison Jr. out here looking like a young Randy Moss. He said best bird team in the NFL this year, the Cardinals. We'll see. Still got a lot of confidence in the Ravens, but no, the Cardinals 100% looked good.
Marv looked
and again, I mean, you missed it earlier, but the bigger takeaway I think still is like Kyler Murray is like reminded everybody that he's a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. And like maybe by the end of the season, we're having a conversation of him being top 5. Also, shout out Cliff Kingsbury for like being hired to be Kyler Murray's like, his coach that's like gonna push him to like the stratosphere, and like, oh, he's actually got way better after Cliff Kingsbury left. So great look for him. Back to the bets though. Memphis money line banged. They were the underdog in that game too. So good win there. Always feels better when you can hit a money line rather than just a spread cover. You know, get a little bit better odds on that. Florida money line did not end up working out for me, unfortunately. They didn't cover the spread either, so it wouldn't have mattered even if I would have went there. But I had a lot more confidence that they'd be able to, you know, hang with A&M at home. But at the end of the day, just couldn't get the job done. So Weezy, you want to hit your college bets?
Yeah, we already talked about Carolina, Bama, 16.5. That one was with ease.
I actually don't really remember if that was even 16.5. I remember we had it wrong on the last graphic at 6, and I couldn't remember if it was minus 16 or minus 16.5.
I think it was actually 16 flat, but
either way,
matter
they covered,
regardless.
So.
Unbelievable when you get to turn off a game at halftime, you know, being a winner. That's fun. And then Mizzou didn't even come close to covering.
No.
BC was a lot better than I thought, so I admittedly missed that one.
Yeah, no, I liked that bet too when you initially placed it. But yeah, I guess we were both wrong on that one. Awful miss by me there on Dolphins minus 2.5. We already talked about that a little bit on Thursday night because we didn't even get to the bets until the Dolphins bet was already just completely dead in the water. So yeah, really bad look. Tua played terrible before he got hurt. So yeah, not a good look there for me with the Dolphins. Commanders though ended up covering. That was scary. Weezy. This is the only one that we each had right really with the NFL. Weezy kind of called me out. Wasn't the smartest play. Go minus 1.5 rather than money line. It's always a little dangerous, but worked out for me. Ended up winning by 3, so it hits. And then we both missed our bets on Sunday night. Weezy's just narrowly missed mine.
Yeah, that petty field goal pissed me.
Yeah. Mine missed by a little more. The over was not very close. What was the total? 30? No,
19-13. So whatever that is.
32.
Yeah.
So yeah, missed by a bit. But I thought that game was going to be a lot higher scoring. I thought the Bears offense would, maybe figure some stuff out from last week. But obviously that was not the case. So 45.5. Not a great bet by me.
Yep. And then my other one that missed, Cowboys minus 6.5. Nothing you can do. They ran into the greatest thing since sliced bread with the Saints offense.
Yeah, that was ridiculous. I still won't get over that. I'm very curious to see what happens with the Saints.
So no, I mean that was a bad beat, but one of those that was over at halftime. So turn it off. Don't worry about it. Well, actually, I had red zone on, so I kept getting shoved down my throat. That bet was for sure not hitting.
Yeah. So we both go 3-3. It's 2 weeks in a row. As you can see, Wee's got a couple game lead on me here so far. He's 11-6 on the year. Pretty sharp so far. I'm 9-8, so still positive, still over 500. But yeah, that's where we sit for now. And then that being said, we'll move forward. Next thing on the docket going to be Rock Hard Takes, and then after Rock Hard Takes, we'll get into Kelly's Geek Rankings. But first, let's do some takes.
Bone up, folks. It's time for Rock Hard Takes.
Alrighty, it is time for Rock Hard Takes. Today's Rock Hard Takes topic is going to be sports trophies. Took it somewhat liberally. It's not necessarily just a championship trophy or necessarily a trophy in general. So we're kind of just going to go with whatever here, but we're going to sit and rip and then comment your favorite trophies. Again, doesn't have to be necessarily a real trophy. Maybe it could even be fictional. So let us know your Rock Hard Takes for best sports trophies. Do you have 1-1?
I get 1-1.
Yep. All right. So go ahead.
All right. First pick, easy pick. It's not even a debate. I'm going to go with the Stanley Cup.
Yep. I've been very very upfront, I guess, admittedly, that I am not a huge hockey guy, but I will, say that the Stanley Cup is the best trophy in sports. So good pick by you there. I'm getting things kicked off. For my first couple picks here, I'm going to go with the Heisman Trophy. I think the Heisman Trophy, very cool. The statue, stuff like that. It's obviously got a lot of history behind it. And it's, definitely the most famous individual player award, I would say, in all sports, right?
Easily.
Yes.
Because obviously most other trophies in other sports, sometimes MVP trophies and stuff like that have names, but you don't know them. You just know it as the MVP of the NFL, the MVP of the NBA.
Heisman is
Heisman is a Heisman.
It's
so
huge.
That's awesome.
I mean, the people doing the Heisman in games, the celebrations, iconic.
Yep.
I've held it.
Okay.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I've
it's fucking heavy, dude.
You're not allowed to hold the Stanley Cup, but I've given it a hug and a kiss quite a few times.
Yeah, you get cursed. So
yeah.
Now you can never win it, Weeze.
Yeah. Well,
you had such a big chance too. Okay. Next one I'm going to go with.
You're actually not allowed to though.
Yeah, I know. No, I know what the thing.
Yeah, because they got that guy. I forgot his name, but Jazz Gloves.
Yeah,
he runs it.
He is in charge of it.
Yeah, you actually even if you tried, you could not pick that thing up. But
Yep. Okay, my next one. This is where I'm going to go off the trophy list right away, and I'm going to take it early because I think it's unique. So go with the Masters green jacket. Again, not a true trophy, but very cool. Again, one of those things where it's like everybody knows what you're talking about if you just talk about the green jacket.
Yep.
So lots of aura for a quote unquote trophy. So
you took two that I was hoping to get way later. All right. Next one. I got two picks here. I'm gonna go with the Lombardi, great trophy, and then I'll go at the world stage. I'll go with the World Cup. I don't know if that's like if it's the World Cup trophy, if it does have a name, but
yeah, I think it's just called the World Cup trophy. I had that one too. Again, I think we would both say we're not.
I think it's
not
probably the most underrated, maybe
Yeah.
because we are from America.
Yeah,
so
we're not soccer guys, but it's a cool looking trophy.
It's awesome.
Yeah. So, and obviously very, very big one too. That's very important to pretty much every other country other than us.
Yes.
All right. Next one that I'm going to go with, I think I'm going to go with the Claret Jug. Going to go with golf again here. Very just cool, unique trophy. Again, another one where it's like the trophy is like almost arguably more like popular than the actual tournament itself. So I'll throw that one in there. And then the next one, not a super like cool trophy, but this one I'll just go with more of as like a, everybody knows what it is. The Larry O'Brien, the NBA championship trophy. I think, obviously wouldn't go undrafted by any means, but I don't know. That was kind of a tough one with how early I wanted to go with it, but I'll go with it here. So,
all right. This one is technically not a trophy because it has what it actually is in the name. I have two more, right?
Yep.
And then I'm done. I'm gonna go with the gold medal.
Okay.
I don't think that's cheating, is it?
No. I mean,
we
took a jacket.
You took a jacket, yeah. So gold medal. It's definitely at the bottom. Like I don't think like it's that a big of a deal.
Yeah.
And also, especially with the nudes, they're kind of like shitty these days.
There's a lot of them too. Like
there's so many.
Hmm.
And then my last one. Do I go with the fictional one? Because Clyde's up here. He was showing the World Series trophy. I think that trophy sucks.
You don't like it?
No.
I think it's kind of cool.
I think it's my favorite. I personally like how simplistic it is. I mean, flag for every team. I think it's really cool.
I don't know why I hate it. I'm gonna go with the Shiva from the league.
Okay, that's a great pick. Yeah, that top tier, 100% like that a lot. Last one I'm gonna go with. Shout out Cass if you're still listening. I think the best rivalry trophy game in college football. I'm gonna go with Paul Bunyan's Axe. I think that's a good trophy in college football trophy games. So
yeah,
that'll be my final pick for Rock Hard Takes. So
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, I like how that kind of like last minute. I was I should check. Like I should think about like college rivalry trophies.
Yep, because the water jug between Michigan, Minnesota could have been up there just given the history of it.
Minnesota has so many trophy games
because they're so old.
Yeah, even I don't know if theirs in Nebraska is technically recognized as a trophy game, but they have the five. What is it like five? It's something like $5 pieces of broken chair trophy or something. I don't know. It's something weird, but it's like kind of funny. Let's see. Kobe said Dakota Marker. That's a big one. Between in the FCS ranks, it's definitely the biggest rivalry. NDSU, SCSU.
Can we Google that one, Clyde? I've never seen it.
The Dakota Marker. It's basically just a rock that has like a plaque on it. But
now that's sick.
Well,
now that's a great trophy.
That's pretty. It's pretty.
Paul Bunyan could have been up there. Just the Paul Bunyan trophy.
Oh, man, that's a big rock.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's Dakota Marker. So I thought it had a plaque. I guess it's just cool.
No, it does. I think they fucking just hold it. Actually, that might be a fake. Yeah, you can buy it.
But yeah, Dakota Marker, good one. So shout out Kobe. Any other trophies that you guys have for honorable mentions? I mean, Gold Glove is cool. I mean,
I had Gold Glove,
Silver
Slugger.
I don't know what else.
Those are definitely the best for like. I'm trying to think like positional like awards.
Yeah,
those are. I think
other than like the Heisman,
Gold Glove's sick.
Yeah,
the gold jacket from Happy Gilmore.
Yeah. I thought about taking the master, like the green jacket
up there.
No, I legitimately thought about taking the green jacket and the gold jacket back to back. But I figured that was kind of be,
shoot him again.
Borderline like waste of a pick type thing because they're kind of the same thing. Like obviously the gold jacket and Happy Gilmore is just complete rip off of the green jacket. Yeah, I don't know what other ones are there. I mean, we could have thought like bowl game trophies too. Like
Clyde was showing the Rose Bowl trophy. That one is actually that one probably should have gotten taken.
Yeah, probably should have taken that one. I'm glad that the CFP trophy went undrafted. It's kind of lame a little bit.
Why am I
and
blanking on its
I like
name
the-
right now?
I like the old one.
What's
I
the
like-
OG? Yes.
the
What's
old-
the actual
the-
name
the
of it?
old
This-
ones.
The crystal ball.
No, I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking like the actual like older like college football trophies, not the BCS one.
It's like the one from the 70s. What the fuck is the name of it?
I don't know. There's been some really good. The current college football national championship trophy is the worst, for sure. I'm gonna try and look at some other ones too.
I know.
I mean, I don't hate it.
I know it's good.
It's not horrible. It's just it's definitely the worst. Like
Okay. That's
of the other ones, like of the ones that have existed. BCS one, I don't know. That was or was that the coaches?
Which one? The one on the screen. What is it?
Yeah, it's.
I like it.
I really like the middle ones though, with the crystal ball.
Yes.
Crystal ball.
Okay, yeah, no, that is the one I was.
Those
I
are
thought you were talking about the like the BCS one. What was the BCS
no,
one? Look like?
I'm thinking of the FBS one, like before there was.
Yeah, okay, no, that was the one I was talking.
Yes,
about.
that
Okay,
one
yeah.
also could have gone drafted. I like that one a lot.
Why'd they stop doing that? Why is it just the fucking ball now? Which actually, is it even the ball anymore?
No, so the
it's
BCS
yeah,
was
it's
just.
It's the one in the bottom left on the TV there.
Right?
That's
Or
new
was
one.
the BCS still that?
I think it was.
They just took it off.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I thought it was literally just like the ball, but okay.
No.
All right. My
Um,
apologies. But no, that's
what-
that's
what-
the new one called.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I kind of forgot.
that just got in once the
This
college
one-
football playoff.
This
began,
one
I think.
fucking sucks.
The only thing they have for it's big.
They just got to change it. Something about holding the crystal ball was so cool.
Yeah.
It's like Indiana Jones.
Yeah. No, let's go back to that. Okay. Let's move forward. We definitely should have drafted that. By the way, that was probably a big miss.
It's a really
Mhm.
cool one.
We'll go to Kelly's Geeky rankings before we get out of here. So yeah, let's cue the video.
In a world of politics, war, bad beats, and watching your favorite sports teams come up short, sometimes you just need to hear a guy rank random shit. Enter your hero, Colin Kelly, here today for another edition of Kelly's Kinky Rankings.
Clyde wants to make sure you guys all know we kind of messed up. He tried dropping us a producer note. He was actually doing his job.
Yeah.
But yeah, we did forget Kareem Hunt is gonna visit with the Chiefs on tomorrow, I think.
Yeah,
so
it's huge because they don't
might
have
be
any,
back.
they don't have any running backs right
yeah, Pacheco's out. We
Yeah.
also forgot to mention that.
Yes, we totally forgot. Yes,
suck at our
he's on the
job.
IR. He's,
Pacheco's on the IR. So
he's out for 6 to 8
now.
weeks.
So
yeah, not good.
imagine the Chiefs accepting him, like after the whole dilemma is just, oh my god.
I mean, where's Clyde's Edward-Helaire when you need him?
Bad at football.
He's really bad.
Shanghai Shark, baby.
All right, Kelly, what do you got in store for us?
All
today?
right. Most fun sports, locker rooms. It's like atmospheres, and I guess there's certain playmakers that go into that atmosphere. So right off the bat, we're gonna be doing number 5 is OKC with Campaign and Russ. These guys brought all the happy vibes to Oklahoma. Like Oklahoma's like a very fun team. It's like very much like the Kings, very young, like really, really good team. But Campaign and Russ, before every single game, they did this stupid little dance. And they
I'd
were
be
like,
the first one to say I despise that little year that they did all that.
oh, you didn't like that?
No,
Because when they both somehow got sent to the Rockets,
it was only
and they kept doing it on the Rockets.
it was only funny when other teams would get pissed off by it and they would still do it. That's when it was funny
Yeah, 'cause, I mean, it was the
because
era
that created moments.
Yeah,
But
it was-
besides that, no.
I loved it because it'd be like, oh, Russ made a shot, so Campaign's just like pipe it up, and he's just like a hype man.
Okay,
That's
yeah,
all he
I
is.
can
He's,
see it.
Campaign is just a hype man. Shout out him on the Bulls too. Number 4, we're gonna go with Orlando Magic. Oh, so I love. Oh my god, these guys they're so electric. I fucking hate Franz Wagner, but
It's Wagner.
sorry, we're in Nebraska. We're not in Germany.
In America, bozo.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be.
I mean, I'm
calling
just
Wagner.
saying, you know,
It is
You're gonna
Wagner.
say
It
it's
is
Wagner.
Franz Wagner.
it's
I know.
Franz Wagner.
I know. I took German. Ich spreche auf Deutsch. I know.
I know what that means too.
I speak German. Yeah.
No,
was
they're
gonna-
they're a fun young team.
Yeah. I was gonna put OKC, but I feel like that's kind of. I can't fucking put both OKCs in there. I mean, I like Orlando Magic's young core more. It's really funny. Yeah, so I'm just gonna go with Orlando. Really fun young team.
Okay.
Number 3, a little fictional, Major League America's
Yeah,
team.
no, this is a great pick.
I mean,
A little
Every-
controversial pick though, because some guys, you know, were banging other guys' wives.
yeah, but it's all about friendship at the end of the day. They all put everything aside and they just played baseball.
Also, I think I'd actually be a little terrified to share a locker room with Vaughn.
What about the?
He was a criminal.
Yeah, yeah, but he could throw gas and he wore glasses. You're not scared to wear glasses.
I mean,
But-
they had skulls on the glasses.
Oh yeah, those were cool. That was a cool detail. Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember that. But I feel like I'd be more worried about the voodoo man.
No, he'd be my favorite.
I mean, he's a teddy bear.
Yeah.
And then again, you fuck with his voodoo, he'd probably
And then
probably
snakes
murder
in the
him.
locker room.
Yeah.
I
But
don't know.
it's
how they
all it's
allowed that.
all about the atmosphere though, because like there was like shitty tubs, there was just drugs, animals, like pinball machines. It was just like overly looked really fun for an actual locker room and for an atmosphere wise. It looked very fun because of how shitty the team was. So
I don't know if I'd want to be a part of it, but I'd love to like observe it like every single day.
yeah, it'd be cool to be like there but not there. you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the perfect way to put it.
All right. So yeah, number 3. And then number 2, Moneyball, just having fun. I used to photo Brad Pitt because he's the fucking goat. I love him in that movie. Oh my god. I love Moneyball's up there for it's the most beautiful Cinderella story in baseball, and it makes baseball. It's
Can we talk about that?
yeah.
About like it really wasn't like that movie makes
How
it
fake
seem.
the movie is?
The movie is yes.
Okay, yeah, the movie's fake, but they still went on that fucking win streak. Yeah,
The win streak
they
was
got
awesome,
fucked,
but like
still,
the fact that like we're sitting here like that they won with just absolute scrubs.
they did.
They had the AL Cy Young and the AL MVP on that team, and they are not mentioned a singular time in that movie.
Doesn't count.
Barry Zito and Miguel Tejada were on that team.
Who's that little fucker that got traded to the Cubs? He won Rookie of the Year. What was his name? What is that little fucker?
I don't know.
What's his name?
I mean, Carlos Pena obviously got traded.
Sammy Sosa.
That would be Carlos Pena. Yeah,
He got traded to the Tigers.
he was also a Cub.
Yeah, but like in the movie, he got traded to Detroit.
Yeah.
No, that's like my only pet peeve with the movie. It's still one of like it is
Yeah. It's
a
my
great
favorite.
movie.
It's my favorite sports movie of all time.
Chris Pratt. Man.
But like the fact though that they
He's really funny.
the fact though that
He's
they
really funny.
don't even bring up Barry Zito or Tejada once is a little ridiculous.
Yeah, but it
It's
kind
like
of
they made the playoffs because they had the best pitcher and the best player in baseball that year.
yeah. They also had oh my god, that old guy. What's his name? David Justice.
Yep.
Oh, I love
actually-
David Justice in that.
I want to look up his numbers that year.
because he was
What year was that? 02 or 01?
You'd know better than I would.
either 02 or 01. But yeah, David Justice was like 36, just fucking hitting nukes.
02. Okay.
That was really that was I love that movie just because like every player was just like individually dog shit. Yeah, I get they had good guys that year, but the more pointed out the guys that are like old farts that still somehow produced that year.
That was his last season. And he hit 266, 376, 410.
300 career home runs, man.
He had 11 homers. I mean, he was still very serviceable for being 36 years old.
Yeah,
I'm actually shocked that was his last year if those were his numbers. But
he was the guy.
no, I like the pick.
Yeah,
Just
it's just it's a little unrealistic, but then again, it's a Disney baseball movie. They have to make it like that. All right, so number 1, we're gonna be doing Miami Heat 2013 and CP3.
What?
These guys would
How does CP3 get tied into this?
banana boat
All right.
every time on vacation. They would tag along. They'd have CP3 come.
but that's not a locker room.
That's
They
just-
were
that's
never
just their
all in
friend
a
group.
locker room together.
Okay.
That's just a friend group.
You don't know if actually, yeah,
Carmelo's
actually,
kind of part of that too.
yeah,
By the way, Kobe's dropping some baiters in the
Yeah,
comments
no,
here.
and I'm gonna put one of them up there because it was the clear cut number 1.
Yeah.
And we don't even have to talk about it.
Wisconsin volleyball. I actually make zero comment because I know 2 of those girls.
Yeah, no
It's all in my
comment on
high
that.
school, so please, no.
But-
all family friends can't be doing that. Hell of a team.
Also,
though.
bench warmers would have been sick locker room to be in.
fuck. Actually, yeah, but
Good one.
that little, I don't like the little
The
fat kid that-
Tim Tebow Florida Gators. Hernandez in there, yeah.
Urban?
Boys. Urban.
Urban.
That would have just been hell.
Dude, Urban would have been
Or like the 01 Miami Hurricanes.
drink your piss, run up the hill. Actually, yeah, I could do Miami.
Look, I did like the list until that number 1. You didn't even drop an actual locker room. You dropped a friend group.
yeah, no, because
Like, yeah, that
they
would have been so much
win.
fun
It would be so much fun.
to go on a vacation with those 4 people. But
It was, dude, no, because like, yeah, I mean the Miami Heat 2013, but also I want to include CP3. I mean the Heat had the most like funny goofball, like tomfoolery top 3.
I mean, how do you not put the Harlem Shake video or the clip of that for that though?
I mean I could have, but like, Chris
that
Anderson.
was legendary.
Yeah, but like then again, Birdman, Chris Anderson's not like butt buddies with like LeBron. I could have added Bosch, but Bosch is not banana, so I just put CP3 in there because he's also in the banana photo.
Could have said Carmelo
Alright.
too.
Should we start brainstorming some other great picks?
For locker rooms.
Yeah.
I don't even know, dude. Well, because like you could take.
I was gonna have Moneyball.
I'm trying to like just think of like funny, fun teams, but like not really any populating from here.
I'm trying to think like fictional.
Fictional.
Yeah.
Basketball.
I don't even. I mean, there's 2 players. I don't know if there's locker rooms. For
Oh,
that.
semi-pro.
Semi-pro would have. That could have been one for me.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, I'm in a hell of a locker room to be in.
Yeah.
that would have been good.
Like as soon as anything goes haywire, it's just everybody love everybody.
Yeah, I think every baseball movie ever, probably like Rookie of the Year, Angels in the Outfield. I mean, probably all of those could have been there.
Kobe said my senior year basketball team. Shout out to the boys.
Yeah.
It was a fun year. Didn't win many games, but a fun year.
You got to run it back again. Intramurals,
High
man.
school basketball.
No, intramurals, my
Oh.
man.
Showtime Lakers.
Showtime Lakers, yeah.
Just don't do anything, blood related. But
Yeah. No blood.
also, I
brothers.
don't know, because Kareem kind of seems like a dick, and I don't know.
Yeah.
That's why I'm also not putting in like the Bulls,
Yeah.
because I think MJ would have been just the worst to be around.
MJ was a bad man. Kareem spit on people though.
The Warriors would have been just corny as hell.
I would not want to do corn. Yeah. I would-
Cletus, can you dunk?
Can I dunk? Yeah.
All right,
I
we're gonna
haven't-
have to
I
get video
haven't-
proof.
Yeah, we're gonna have to definitely tape that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have to get the legs all warmed up again, but yeah, I could last year. Basketball season's coming up in a couple weeks, so yeah, I'll hop on that.
Got to lock in.
Yeah, I'll lock in. Yeah, we're going to be doing the B League this year. Junior playing the B League against freshmen, and it's going to be really fun. Really excited.
Smart.
You guys are gonna get wrong.
Still getting ran.
Hey, funny head. All right, we made it to the championship in the A League with our B team. You know why? Grant Fulmer, he's a big guy. He's like 6'4", 250. You just post up on people.
Who's like running your 2?
There's guys that are like there's guys that are like 6'8".
No. We actually we run a tall, heavy offense because we just drive. We don't shoot. And when we do shoot, we give it to Yost. Yost is actually pretty deadly on the 3. But yeah.
All right, as much as I'm sure everybody in the comments or listening is very concerned with our.
I choose that as
basketball
number
team,
1.
but-
That is the new number 1.
Okay, your intramural basketball team. locker room.
Huge locker room presence.
Under 4 wins, by the way.
All right, that'll do it for today's edition of Rock Hard Ball. We appreciate you guys all tuning in. Another reminder, check out the socials there, scrolling across the bottom at Rock Hard Ball, at Rock Hard Ball Pod on all the major platforms. So yeah, go give those a follow so you can stay up to date. We'll be back Thursday, 9 p.m. Central Time for anybody that's new, doesn't really know our schedule. So Mondays and Thursday, 9 p.m. Central Time. Tune in. We go about an hour and a half to 2 hours during season. Have another great episode. Week 4 conference play starting in college football. So that's going to be great. Back to a lot of good matchups. This week was kind of light in terms of good big time matchups, but there's a handful of really big ones next week. So I'm excited to get into that. But yeah, that's going to do it. So for Karter, Weez, Clyde, Cletus, Colin, whatever you want to call them, it's going to do it. We'll see you next time.
Good night.